Hello everyone, today I'm doing the Attack of the Clones review, and I'm doing it with my dad. Like last time we did the Phantom Menace review, didn't we?
Yes.
And we're doing the Attack of the Clones review. These reviews will just come out any day, doesn't matter,
There's no pattern to it.
Yeah.
No set days, but we're just doing it. We're going to do a Star Wars roll. Hopefully we'll get to do all 9, and then
We might do the Clone
we
Wars
might do that
and
in between.
Rebels.
But we're just so we may do Clone Wars next after this, or we may jump to Revenge of the Sith. We're not sure yet. But we'll see. Anyway, we'll pick it up. The story, excuse me, is set 10 years after the events of the Phantom Menace, and the galaxy is on the brink of civil war, with thousands of planetary systems threatening to secede from the Galactic Republic. After Senator Padme Amidala, who was the Queen, elected Queen in the Phantom Menace, evades an assassination attempt, Jedi apprentice Anakin Skywalker becomes a protector, while his mentor Obi-Wan Kenobi investigates the attempt on her life. Soon the trio witness the onset of a new threat to the galaxy, the Clone Wars. God, that sounds exciting. I must start by saying that despite the corny love story, and again too much reliance on CGI, this movie, in my opinion, is an improvement. Not a massive improvement, but prequel-wise, it is a significant improvement in my eyes, because it has a lot more energy towards it. The acting is still awful and wooden and stilted, but less stilted. The dialogue is less monotone. It's more energy to it, in my opinion, despite the cheesy love story. But as I say, the overall look of it, with a lack of real location shooting, is not as good, apart from when they go to Lake Garda and stuff in Italy. But anyway, what do you think of the story, Benjamin?
Good story. Some parts are a bit off. They don't really make sense.
Like what?
I don't really know. They just don't make sense to me.
Right. Okay. Well,
I have one other thing to say. This is the other part of the story, which is Count Dooku vs. Yoda. Good scene. I think one of the best in the movies.
Yeah, prequel-wise probably, but I still don't think Yoda should have ever had a lightsaber. Just like the Emperor in Episode 3 should never have one. Don't get me wrong, it's cool, and it was cool at the time. But George Lucas, I remember in the documentary, always said he wants it to be taken seriously type thing. In that Puppet to Pixels documentary, I think, on the DVDs. But again, everybody. I remember watching this in the theatre 18 years ago, and everybody laughed when that happened. So I'm not sure they did take it seriously. But you don't laugh now because you've seen it so many times. By the time Revenge of the Sith rolled round, we didn't laugh at all. But anyway, carry on, mate.
I think that was it that I had to say.
You're saying about the Yoda versus...
Oh, yeah. I like the music in it. Probably, I don't know. But it feels like the music is dull.
Probably, yeah, we'll discuss that later, but I think talking about the story in a minute, but I think the music is not...
as good as the first.
Apart from... No, and it borrows a lot from the Phantom Menace, which is not a bad thing, but it's probably the weakest Star Wars soundtrack, I think. Yeah, apart from probably the Rise of Skywalker.
It sounds too quiet.
Yeah. Okay, we'll move on to characters. Most of the characters return from the Phantom Menace, but the main addition, obviously, acting-wise, is Hayden Christensen replacing Jake Lloyd as Anakin Skywalker. As I said in our Phantom Menace review, I think the older Anakin should have been in the Phantom Menace rather than Jake Lloyd playing Anakin Skywalker, because I think you'd relate more to a 19-year-old boy rather than a 9-year-old, especially older fans. But I guess Lucas wanted it to be for kids more, so that's why he did it. But then why have loads of Trade Federation stuff? And I don't know. Anyway, Darth Maul is gone, unfortunately, so he's replaced by Count Dooku, who is still cool, and obviously that's a bit of a nod to the old, Benjamin wouldn't know this, but the old Hammer horror thing, because obviously in the original Star Wars you had Van Helsing, Peter Cushing in it, and this time you've got Count Dracula So Christopher Lee playing Count Dooku, and he was kind of in a role at the time. 2002, he'd already had like Fellowship of the Ring come out, and Two Towers was coming out that year as well. So he'd got this in between. Then obviously he got Revenge of the Sith, 2005. He was cut from Return of the King, but that's another story. But he was on a bit of a roll the early to mid 2000s. Christopher Lee was, and rightly so. He's fantastic in the movie. There's a lot of boring characters in it, like some of the Separatists, I think, are like Wat Tambor. They're kind of fleshed out a lot in the Clone Wars CGI cartoon, which is quite good. Obviously, Darth Maul come back. That's another time. Yeah, a lot of new characters, but again, a lot of them are CGI. What do you think about the characters?
Now I'd just like to say my favourite characters first. You say them after. So favourite characters or character. My favourites are Yoda and the Emperor. Yoda because the scene with Count Dooku versus Yoda, he just whizzes around. Again, I don't think he should have had a lightsaber because it's just weird.
Yeah.
Like, just use the Force. That's it.
Yeah, I think that would be more impactful as well. Just using the Force.
Emperor because the smile scene. Now, right when Padme goes down the elevator, just when the doors close, you see a smile form on his face.
In the Phantom Menace?
No, I swear that's in the...
No, that's in the Phantom Menace.
Okay, but that's another reason why. I literally thought it was in the second one.
No, it's in the Phantom Menace, that way.
Not so much Count Dooku. One reason why.
Right. When all the Jedi leave, sorry mate, when they leave,
he smiles,
film, he kind of turns around and then looks. And obviously Yoda's suspicious of him as well. So yeah, you have a point. Sorry mate, carry
on. Count Dooku, obviously he's an old man with grey hair, so you don't really expect him to be that good with the Force, but obviously he is. Count Dooku is a bit off sometimes. He's just like, in my opinion, he's not that good. Like, who would have an old man as your apprentice?
But remember, he's a Jedi that left the Order. He's part of the Lost 20, supposedly. So, but it doesn't matter.
You wouldn't Anakin be in the Lost 20?
Isn't he? By this point, he's like, what, 870, something like that?
Yeah, no, don't get how he like whizzes around. That doesn't make any sense. That's what they should have thought.
Star Wars.
Okay, your favourite characters?
My favourite characters are Obi-Wan, always, throughout this prequel trilogy, and it is actually Count Dooku. I think he's a good character, but again, he appears like 1 hour 15 minutes into the movie.
I do like his voice. That's the only thing I like.
Yeah, Christopher Lee. Yeah, he's very good. That was the worst impression, but yeah, he's very good. But again, as I say, he only appears like 1 hour 15 minutes into the movie, and he's in it for an hour, and he's literally in it pretty much all the time.
Also, I like it because he speaks like a gentleman and he acts like a gentleman.
Yeah, that's true. That's what.
And I like the shape of his lightsaber. Yeah. It's like a curve. Okay, the reason why you're hearing Erin is because she's sitting there next to us, aren't you, Erin?
But she is. Okay, so on to special / visual effects. The practical effects, models and sets are again not very noticeable due to a lot of CGI and green screen, but obviously that's frequent throughout this prequel trilogy. The look of it again, like the Phantom Menace, even more so, has a cartoon quality that has not aged well. Some of the scenes have, particularly the opening city chase in Coruscant. I think that's awesome, and I still love that. And also, I love the end battle. Not so much with the beasts, but the gladiator type battle. But I love the lap gunship bit at the end. I think that's fantastic. But again, if you compare that battle at the end with something like The Empire Strikes Back snow battle done with stop motion, which one looks more real? in my opinion, Empire Strikes Back looks so more real. You know, I mean, if you look at the end of Attack of the Clones, lap gunship battle versus the clone, it looks like Battlefront 2 cutscenes now. In fact, they actually look in some ways better than what that does. You know, so what do you think of the special visual effects, mate?
Visual effects are amazing. It's like, if you were there, it would probably be a whole lot different. Again, some parts of the visual effects, they focused mainly on the background, just focus on the part that we're looking at. Yeah, like, they put so much detail into it that, like, your mind will, like, blow up soon. And it nearly made me fall asleep once.
Yeah, it has a kind of very slow pace.
Yeah.
Which leads us on to pace. And again, in my improvement, although it does have it sometimes, I'd say the love scenes kind of bog it down.
Yeah, love scenes.
As it does move, not well, but it does move more than the Phantom Menace. And you say, despite slowing down for the love story and a lot of sitting in rooms and talking, the opening speed of chase I mentioned earlier with the special effects, and the end Clone Wars battle, particular highlights despite overuse of CGI, because the pace of that is so much more relentless and energetic compared to the battles in the Phantom Menace, which is just, in my opinion, boring. What do you think of the pace?
Pace. The love scenes, oh my gosh, just so slow. That's the main reason why I get tired. If I watch them, I'm just like, and then I like lay back for a second, and then like once a new scene comes on, like someone nudges me, and then I'm like, yay, love scene's finally over.
Yeah, it's not great. You just want to get, I mean, really, the whole how it intercuts. I kind of like the Anakin bit with his mother, but I think if you could have shortened that down,
cut all the love scenes out.
Made the love story like Luke and Leia, more realistic, more kind of arguing type thing, not stilted, boring dialogue. But I think if you'd intercut that with Obi-Wan investigating, you know, the clones and stuff, that would have been pretty good. But again, it was all kind of redundant. I think you could have done this again in a crawl or something, or something anyway. But we'll get to that. The action, again, use these words, feels more energetic and exciting, and less stilted like the Phantom Menace. The dialogue, not so much. The lightsaber battle's not the best in this one, I don't think. Despite what people say, oh, Yoda lightsaber battle, I don't really count that because that is just CGI. It's particularly the M one with Anakin. The one with Jango Fett and Obi-Wan is a cool action scene. Benjamin, do you agree? That's really good. On Kamino, that looks really good. Most of it, anyway.
Rain is amazing. Yeah. It actually looks like Obi-Wan's getting wet.
Well, he is. It's all rain, but it's on a green screen that was filmed on. But yeah, as I said earlier, Yoda with a lightsaber should never happen. Just like the Emperor, needs to be a wise old, Jedi master who didn't need a lightsaber. But I think, the end lightsaber battle with Anakin and Dooku and Obi-Wan, that bit with Anakin, it's so close to his face, you don't see any of the action. It's just like he's holding a torch and waving it in the dark. I know that's probably a stylistic choice, but in my opinion, I wouldn't have.
And they always focus on Anakin. They always focus on Anakin. It's just.
Yeah, that's part of the story, isn't it? It should be his story as well as Obi-Wan's. But the action. So the action, not so good in the lightsaber battles, but good at the end with the clone battle and stuff. Costumes are again amazing, but whether they fit the aesthetic of the Star Wars movie again, I don't know. It's 22 years later before A New Hope, but again, maybe that's the point, because as I say, if you compare the fashions from the 40s to the 60s, from the 80s to the 2000s, they're totally different, so there you go. And also different cultures, different worlds, etc. Again, Padme changes outfit at light speed every scene, but what do you think of the costumes?
Yeah, Padme does change outfits a lot. Same with the first one. I think they made Padme. Hello. I think they made Padme, like, they put too much costumes on her, yeah.
Yeah, I said that, didn't I? I think she changes at light speed.
Yeah.
I think...
more than the first one, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they're better costumes, because obviously she was that
It's
electric
like...
queen, wasn't she, before that? But...
No, George Lucas actually wanted Padme to, like, have change costume every scene.
Yeah.
Which is stupid.
Music... Again, another great score by John Williams, as always. Across the Stars being a standout, and it pays kind of homage to those old 1930s, 20s, 30s serials with its cheesiness. Yeah, I think some of them don't. Well, you say that, but I think again a slight negative. This score, in my opinion, is one of the least memorable of the movies, and copies and pastes, as I said earlier, a lot from the Phantom Menace. Even. And this, I thought this when I saw it at the cinema. When I saw Harry Potter later, the second Harry Potter movie, Chamber of Secrets, using a similar track with the speeder chase in the opening bit in Coruscant, that Williams himself used in the second Harry Potter in the Quidditch match. So I'm pretty sure it's the same tune or similar riffs to it anyway. Okay, what do you think of the music, Benjamin?
My rating is 6 out of 10. Good tunes, but some parts don't fit well with the scene. Music, like I said earlier, just a bit dull, like you said in the first review. Dull.
Not dull. It's just I don't think the music's as good as it's still well composed. Well orchestrated.
It can't compare to the Duel of the Fates, though.
No.
Yeah.
Right, direction, and again, as I said before in The Phantom Menace, I think in my opinion, Lucas's great ideas, man, not so good script writer or director. But, like I say, the action has more energy, and whether that's to do with Lucas, I don't think it is, because the performances are slightly above what it was in The Phantom Menace, but I think it's just how it's kind of edited, which again, he was involved with Ben Burt. But yeah, it has a more energetic pace to it. So I think the direction is slightly better. What do you think, mate? The direction?
Yeah, Lucas, amazing ideas, man. He invented Indiana Jones, Star Wars.
Howard the Duck.
Yeah, Howard the Duck. Definitely a popular classic. Not really. George Lucas, yeah.
Lego Marvel superheroes. Like.
Yeah, he is good. George Lucas is good at ideas.
Acting. The acting, in my opinion, is not the best, with only Ewan McGregor and possibly Ian McDiarmid coming out of the movie unscathed. Hayden, in my opinion, is not as bad as people say. He gets a bit of a bad rep. But if you look at it, he was a young kid at the time, just turned 20. I think he just needed a good director, because apparently, I've never seen him, but like Shattered Glass and stuff he's been in before, some other movies, were supposed to be good. But I think it was just due to Hugh Lucas's inability to direct his actors well. And if he's not an experienced actor, like say Natalie Portman, who's not the best in it, but if you look at something like Ewan, it comes across so much better because he's a better actor. Just like Liam Neeson was in The Phantom Menace. If you're not as experienced actor and you need a good director, if you don't have one, then the performance isn't going to come off as well. So yeah, acting. What do you think, Benjamin?
Acting, Ewan, same like the first one, really good. Who's Hayden? Who are you talking? Anakin. Oh, is he the boy in the first one, but like grown up?
No, that's what I say. He's supposed to be, isn't he? That is Anakin Skywalker, but it's not. It's not him, is it? That was the point.
Acting. This isn't really about acting, but I feel like they space the movies out in time. Star Wars a bit too much. Like I feel like the second movie we still should have seen Anakin as a kid. Maybe the third movie definitely not, because you don't want to see kid Darth Vader.
The way he structured this whole trilogy, as I said in the Phantom Menace review, is that this is kind of structured, in my opinion, this movie. Although it's structured kind of similar to, as I mentioned, the other one, to the to the original trilogy. You know, the cliffhanger at the end of the second one leads into a rescue at the third one, go to the main plot, ends, so on. This feels like it's like a Game of Thrones series in that it should be like 10 episodes, and you'll lead to that eventual turn. You'll see a bit of Darth Vader, but we'll get to that anyway in episode 3. But yeah, the acting not the best. We've already covered favourite characters. The ending, Benton. What do you think of the ending? The ending, in my opinion, sets at the Clone Wars. But as I say, if it was a 10-act structure, 10-act play, then that's fine. But there's just not enough time, and hence why you have the Clone Wars series. But when I know people say, oh, well, it focuses on Anakin Skywalker. Well, yeah, the Clone Wars could have focused on Anakin Skywalker. It would have been more entertaining than just building it up, saying, no, that's it, that's your lot, and then we'll go to episode 3. The Clone Wars really should have been, that could have been episode 2. You could have, but again, it's all about structure. But what do we know? Anyway. But yeah, the ending sets the Clone Wars well. But in my opinion, it's, as I say, it's all about structure. We could have had spoilers, Anakin becomes Darth Vader. We could have had that, say, at the end of episode 2. We could have had episode 1 as the Clone Wars, episode 2 as, say, the rise of Darth Vader, episode 3 as kind of a rise or the Empire coming to the forefront more, hunting down the Jedi. I think that would have been a better way to structure it. What do you think, mate?
Yeah, ending just set up the Clone Wars. But without the Clone Wars, it would feel like it wouldn't really set up episode 3. No, not really.
But now you can watch it in chronological order. That's fine because you've had like now 7 years of the Clone Wars. But I think, like I say, if you're doing a 3-act structure, you shouldn't have to rely on so much. It's almost like if you just watched it and then watch any other series, it'd be like episode 2 ends, right, the Clone Wars is beginning, right, we're going to see that in the next movie. Oh, hang on a sec, we've only got 1 movie to go. And that's it, episode 3, because then you kind of tie it into it. It's kind of tied into a corner, in effect. It's cool having the prequels, but at the end, he's got to hit those beats. We'll get to this anyway in episode 3 with you. He's got to hit those beats. So at the end of episode 1, in my opinion, should have been the start of the Clone Wars, and then episode 2 could have been him turning into Darth Vader, and then episode 3 could have been him hunting down the Jedi, etc.
But the only way I don't agree with you is they couldn't have possibly fit for every series. Maybe summarize it, but that's an unlikely chance. They couldn't have put the whole Clone Wars series into episode 2.
I'm not saying that, am I? I'm saying they could have done a montage. They could have.
No, you said that they could have instead of doing the Clone Wars, they could have just made that episode 2.
Yeah, they could have made it where it kind of covers an event during the Clone Wars, or the opening bit could have been something where they've come off a mission, similar to episode 3 opening, and then it leads into a mission they got during the Clone Wars, or something could have happened intersected within the Clone Wars. I don't know. I just think the structure of it could have been better. There's a lot of redundant stuff in episode 1, i.e. the pod race. Didn't need that. Could have had a quick game. It's a great character piece I mentioned before. Could have led into Anakin being freed. They could have said, "Oh, we need you strong in the Force." He becomes a Jedi at the end of episode 1, maybe, and then the Clone Wars begins. Episode 2 begins. You could have had him a Jedi Knight. Could have been a Jedi Knight for a while, like a young adult, kind of fighting with his, a friend Obi-Wan, and then, he's gradually being pulled into the to the dark side of the Force by the Emperor. End of episode 2, it ends with him becoming Darth Vader. You could have done that. Episode 3, which is what everybody wanted to see, they could have had him Darth Vader at the start. They could have led it up really well to episode 4. I mean, thankfully you've now got Rogue One, which is kind of episode 3.5 if you look at it like that, which, although not a story of Anakin Skywalker, it features obviously Darth Vader, and it's and it leads right up to A New Hope, which is kind of what everybody wanted to see anyway. And I'm not saying you should do it as fan service, but I just think it should have been structured a bit better. Don't get me wrong, I still like them, and not just because they're Star Wars. I think in hindsight they get better with age. So anyway, so overall thoughts and grade. In my opinion, not the worst Star Wars movie. That goes to, I think, The Last Jedi / The Phantom Menace, but definitely not the best. And again, that's due to the script, the acting, direction, too much CGI and green screen. But where this scores an extra point, as I mentioned earlier, with me over The Phantom Menace, that was a 5 out of 10, is the energy and the pace, and the performances are better, in my opinion, despite the love story. So for me, it's a 6 out of 10. What do you think, Benjamin?
5 out of 10.
5 out of 10?
Yeah,
What did you
not
give
that
The
good
Phantom
as the
Menace?
first one.
Was that a 5?
I gave that an 8.
8?
No, I didn't.
you
I gave
didn't?
that like a 6 or a 7. I don't know. 6.
I think you gave it a 6. Yeah, that's right, because
Yeah.
we gave it 11, didn't we?
Yeah,
So that
yeah,
was,
yeah.
so what do you give it, sorry?
5.
Okay, I give this one. You give this less than The Phantom Menace?
Yes. The only reason why is because they focus, even though they should focus so much on Anakin, we need to know like all the stuff that's going on around him. And
You'd rather watch The Phantom Menace
no,
than this one?
I would have put 4, but the Geonosian one is, I like the Geonosian part. That's my favourite part of the whole film.
Okay, so an over 4 out of 10 then for this one. You
Wait.
prefer The Phantom Menace to this
Wait, 5. What did you put?
one? I gave 6.
That means we're 11 again.
You prefer...
The Phantom Menace.
Okay.
No, because of the Duel of Fates. If it hadn't been the Duel of
Okay,
Fates, I
fair
would have
enough.
been 5 out of 10.
Okay, it's another 11 out of 10 then.
11
out of 20.
11
sorry.
out of 20.
11 out of 20. Okay. Well, that's the end of our review, so I'll sign over to you, boy, to sign off.
Hope you did enjoy this new review. We don't know, like, we're not setting days for reviews.
No, we'll do it
We
as
just
and
do
when.
it random.
But I'll say it before you do. Please like and subscribe.
Yes, do that. Do that or I will destroy you. No, I won't actually. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. That would be greatly appreciated. See you guys in the next one.